can totally see that as being a potential objective when it comes to Adesanya's striking strategy to take Vettori out of that. The last thing I want to talk about is the headliner for next week's UFC Fight Night. Now, this fight was cancelled a bit over a month ago. It was Dominick Reyes versus JIRI Prochazka. Prochazka. And I'm very interested to see this fight because lastly, we were supposed to see this fight not that long ago. Dominick Reyes actually cited an injury and was unable to compete. And then we just saw this fight being pushed back. His fight against JIRI is very interesting because JIRI is actually opened as the favorite while Dominick is actually the underdog. And I didn't expect that because Dominick Reyes is, to most people, I think certainly for you, Joe, is that, and for me as well, is that he beat John Jones. It was a close fight. I believe he beat John Jones. And then quickly after losing to Jan Blachowicz, a lot of people have kind of lost faith in Dominick Reyes, to be honest. And now that he's fighting JIRI, who has only one fight in the UFC, he's immediately the underdog. I understand how good JIRI Prochazka is, such a good striker, and he's came from Ryzen, and he's been incredible so far, amassing a record of 27-3. But I don't quite understand the heavy underdog that Dominick Reyes is. I believe it's to bet on Reyes it's like 172, and on JIRI it's I think $2.02 or something like that. That's a heavy underdog. Or moderate underdog.
I think it's honest. Well, it's the reason being is because where JIRI comes from. He is from the Czech Republic. He actually is affectionately known as Jurka. It's even though it's pronounced Yuri, so it's spelled like Yuri. It's actually pronounced Jurka. It's the I is meant to be an A on the end. He is actually has a really strong Muay Thai background. He's the inaugural and former Ryzen FF light heavyweight champion, and also the inaugural and former Czech GCF light heavyweight champion. And he was ranked 5th in the UFC light heavyweight championship, so in the UFC light heavyweight rankings, off one fight. So that's obviously got to say something quite about his skills. Now, there's a lot of, I'm just looking down at a lot of his records. He is no pushover. He has been, he's 28 years of age, and he's been doing Muay Thai and kickboxing ever since he was the age of 7. So he said openly he wants to be the first ever, he wants to be the first Czech Republic champion in the UFC, because I don't think Czech Republic's ever had a champion before, and he's been fighting professionally since 2012. So he's been
which is actually longer than Dominick Reyes, actually.
Correct. So he's been fighting officially for almost a full decade. Has only had 2 losses under his name, and he's avenged both losses. So
3. 27-3.
Sorry, 27-3 with one draw, and he's actually avenged all 3 losses. So that's a big statement to make now. But the issue is, I'm looking at right now, if he wins against Dominick Reyes, I don't want him to be another hype train pushed too soon, because he's very young. He's 28. However, what I would really like, if he beats Dominick Reyes, I would love to see him fight Alexander Rakic. I think
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I feel like those two would trade bombs with each other, because you've got 2 very very elite strikers. And we talked about Alexander Rakic's leg kicks and how vicious they are. And Yuka has won in the past just by chopping down at those legs. So I feel like that's where a potential matchup could be.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously know JIRI is incredible on the feet. The one thing, and I touched on it earlier, is that he's a little bit of an unknown. In Ryzen, done incredibly well, right? Done incredibly well at 27-3. He's amassed more fights than Dominick Reyes. And he's also been fighting for, I believe, about 2 years longer than Dominick Reyes, which I understand why they've then put into the betting odds that he could be the favorite. But I question why there's little faith in Dominick Reyes when, Dominick Reyes was undefeated before he fought for John Jones. I believe he beat John Jones, although razor decision. And then he lost to Jan Blachowicz. It's not a super quick turnaround. I believe he's recovered from there. I think when it comes to it, I'm confused by a couple of things. The two things is, firstly, I'm confused that there's not enough faith in Dominick Reyes when he's proven in the UFC. And number two is there's so much faith in JIRI's stand-up skills, being that he's came through Ryzen and has a very successful kickboxing background, specifically in Muay Thai. But they haven't really thought about his other areas, his other holes, and what Dominick Reyes could do if he does take him down. I think if either person was to win, they should fight Alexander Rakic. But to be honest, it's a difficult decision for me when it comes to picking a winner. But I think Dominick Reyes will win. And I think it's simply because he is proven in the UFC and JIRI is not. I think Prochazka he's incredible on the feet. I think he's got some of the best skills when it comes to the light heavyweight division in terms of stand-up, but he's an unknown. He's had one fight in the UFC and he's quickly amassed a top 5 in the light heavyweight rankings. But Dominick Reyes has been around in the UFC for a hot minute. And I think being able to beat John Jones, at least have a competitive match against John Jones, that ranks high for me than JIRI Prochazka's kickboxing skills when it comes to fighting challenges in Ryzen and that Asian circuit. So for me, I would take Dominick Reyes, and it'll be an interesting fight. I see it being an absolute scrap, but I think Dominick Reyes will win, and I think he will win by decision.
I got my money on Yuka. I reckon it's going to be close though. I don't know, just something based style that's really good. Anyway.